A Japanese engineering team just cracked open a Unitree G1 and found screws so soft they strip on the first turn. Their conclusion? China still wins. Here is the thing about the Unitree G1 that the Japanese teardown team did not expect to say out loud. The screws are too soft. Strip them on first contact, and you are already in trouble for any future maintenance. That is not a minor quality gripe. That is a signal about the entire manufacturing philosophy baked into this machine. And yet, by the end of their teardown video, published on Bilibili and drawing massive cross-border attention, the same team looked at the camera and essentially said, "We cannot catch up in the short term." That tension, rough execution, undeniable momentum, is exactly what makes this story worth your time. The G1 retails at around $16,000. For a bipedal humanoid robot with this level of mobility, that price point is almost offensively low. Honda's Asimo program burned through decades and hundreds of millions of dollars and never reached commercial sale. Boston Dynamics only began selling spot at around $75,000, and that is a quadruped. The G1 walks on two legs, does backflips in demo videos, and costs less than a loaded Toyota Camry. I think the price alone should have been the story, but the teardown gave us something richer. Let me walk you through what the team actually found, because the component sourcing strategy is fascinating. The head camera is an Intel product, off-the-shelf depth sensing hardware. The LiDAR unit comes from a Chinese supplier. The removable battery pack contains exactly 39 cylindrical cells arranged in a layout the team immediately compared to Tesla's vehicle battery architecture. The cells themselves carry Murata branding, a Japanese electronics manufacturer, which means there is almost certainly a Japanese supply chain thread running through a robot that Japan now feels it cannot compete with. I find that detail quietly ironic. Now, the ankle. This is where I think Unitree genuinely earned some respect from skeptical engineers. Rather than a single actuator trying to replicate the complex multi-axis motion of a human ankle, the G1 uses two motors pulling on metal linkage rods, with multiple bearings working in concert. The result mimics the way a human ankle rolls, tilts, and absorbs impact across three planes simultaneously. Mechanically, it is elegant, and critically, it uses the same motor form factor as the arm joints, which means Unitree is standardizing across limbs to drive down unit costs through volume. Before we go further, one number that changes the whole picture. The calf motors and arm motors are identical in size. That standardization is not an accident. It is the same modular platform logic that Toyota used to slash production costs in the 1980s, and it is how you get a humanoid robot to $16,000. I was wrong about something for about 2 years, and this teardown forced me to confront it. I kept arguing that Chinese hardware companies would hit a quality ceiling, that the gap between a cheap prototype and a reliable commercial product would slow them down the way it slowed early Chinese automakers. The G1 teardown suggests I was half right and half wrong in a way that matters. The quality issues are real. Beyond the soft screws, the team flagged that the screw placement throughout the chassis is actively hostile to maintenance. You cannot reach several of them without partially disassembling adjacent components. There are also what appear to be holes drilled after the fact in multiple locations, suggesting mid-production design corrections that got patched rather than redesigned. And the motor control boards deliberately omit electromagnetic noise filtering components, stripped out to shrink the board footprint, which means the G1 is trading long-term signal cleanliness for short-term size and cost targets. Here is what nobody in the Western press is talking about. These are exactly the same trade-offs early BYD made with its F3 sedan in 2005. Rough fit and finish, borrowed architecture, aggressive pricing, and then a decade of iteration that produced the Seal and the Han. The Japanese team's conclusion is not that the G1 is good enough. Their conclusion is that the improvement trajectory is too steep and too fast to intercept. That is a fundamentally different concern, and I think it is the correct one. Here is where I want to make a concrete prediction rather than wave my hands. The G1's teardown reveals a platform designed for rapid iteration, not for durability in its current form. That means Unitree's next revision, call it G2 or a mid-cycle G1 refresh, will almost certainly address the screw spec and board layout, because those are cheap fixes once you have identified them. The ankle mechanism and the motor standardization strategy, those stay, because they are the structural advantages. What this forces competitors to do is more interesting. Boston Dynamics cannot respond on price. Their manufacturing model is not built for it. Honda's humanoid program is effectively dormant commercially. The pressure lands hardest on Japanese and Korean industrial robotics firms, Fanuc, Kawasaki, Hyundai Robotics, who have the manufacturing discipline the G1 currently lacks, but who are now being asked to close a price gap of 4 to 5 times on a product category that is moving faster than their development cycles. Watch whether Hyundai's Boston Dynamics division announces a sub-$30,000 bipedal product before the end of 2026. If they do not, it means they have decided not to compete in the mass-market humanoid tier at all, and that is a strategic retreat worth paying attention to. The supply chain angle also matters. If Murata cells are already inside the G1, Japanese component makers are already financially entangled with China's humanoid rise, whether Tokyo's policy community is comfortable with that or not. So, bullish or bearish on Unitree? Here is where I land. Bullish on the trajectory, cautious on the current hardware. The G1 is not a finished product. It is a staked claim. 3 things to remember from this. 1. The G1's ankle mechanism, dual motors driving metal linkages across multiple bearings, is a genuine mechanical innovation that larger, better-funded labs have not shipped at this price. 2. The build quality problems are real but shallow. Soft screws and missing EMI filters are iteration problems, not architecture problems, and Unitree has shown it iterates fast. 3. The Japanese team's conclusion is the most important data point here. When the engineers doing the teardown are the ones saying they cannot catch up, that is not pessimism. That is a technical assessment from people who know exactly what catching up requires. My question for the comments: if you ran a Japanese or Korean robotics firm right now, what is the one move you make in the next 12 months? I want specific answers, not strategy speak. And if you want more teardowns like this, EVs, robots, batteries, subscribe. I do these every week. If this teardown changed how you think about Chinese robotics, or if you think I am completely wrong about the quality versus trajectory argument, tell me in the comments. And subscribe for weekly deep dives on Chinese tech that Western media is not covering seriously.